you better work, 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 work. Everybody now work, 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 work. But you better work, 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 work.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Deanna C, and I am the creator and host of the 5678 podcast, where we discuss different topics as well as issues within the majorette community. If you have not already, make sure that you follow, subscribe, and share at Divine Dance All Star Apparel on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, as well as Instagram. I am joined here today um, with my special guest. You said you can't hear me. I believe I'm unmuted and we are live. So you may have to go back out and come back in so that oh, okay, there you go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You can hear me. Let's see. Hello? Well, we're gonna continue as she logs out and come back in because I'm thinking we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. But as I was saying, make sure that you share, tag a few friends into the conversation because today's topic is about financial responsibility within your dance team organization, what that looked like, as well as some tips and different apps that you guys can use to help you get financially organized within your community. So make sure that you tag some friends and family members and people that you know that is involved within the majorette community. Also, I do have a Facebook page that I said I want you guys to like and follow. I also have a Facebook group where you can post your dance team competitions. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can post that within the Divine Dance All-Star affiliation group. um Also, I do have a YouTube tutorial channel if you are interested in designing your own team uniforms, but you don't really have the budget as of yet to purchase more expensive uniforms. This is an affordable but a good way to have a really great look for your team, but don't bust the bank in doing so. There's also information about different topics within the community outside of the 5678 podcast. Also, if you are in need of a logo or team design, I do those as well. So you guys can hit me up at Divine Dance All Star Apparel on social media, or you can email me at divinedanceallstars@gmail.com. I also do flyers for teams as well as dance mixes. If you are in need of a dance mix, I do parade, field show, palm, and so many more other categories. So make sure that you hit me up if you are in need of any of those things. All right, so I'm going to check to see. Manaya, are you still there? I see that she's muted. Let me see if I can unmute her. Hey, Manaya, are you in the building? I'm not sure if she's available yet. I'm gonna check one more time. Well, as we continue to wait, because I'm not sure um, if she can hear me. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not sure if she's having a bad signal or anything. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with today's topic. Don't be afraid to comment if you have any questions or if you want to share something. You can go ahead and comment within the audience. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm messaging her in the private chat. Let me make sure my mic is unmuted. Yeah, my mic is unmuted. I'm not sure. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? let's see. Maybe I need myself back. Can you hear me now? You can hear me?
I can hear you now. I
Okay.
don't know what was going on before.
Actually me who was having the issue. Okay, so I'm sure nobody else could hear me after all the stuff that I just said. However, I'm just gonna say it real quick again. Make sure that you follow, like, subscribe, and share, and tag a few friends into the conversation, because today's topic is about financial responsibility within the majorette community. And what that specifically means is, how do you organize your finances with your organization or with your team? A lot of people are unaware of the proper ways to do so. And it's just an accountability thing to keep, parents who spend their hard-earned money, or if you have to fundraise your money, to just be accountable of where that money is going to. So we always start off with an icebreaker question related to the topic. And so, Manaya, the first question is, do you think a team's organization needs a treasurer or finance committee? Why or why not?
I say yes because, you know, me personally, I'm going to just be honest and open. Um, I'm not good when it comes to finances, not in
Mm-hmm.
my personal life. So I know professionally, I wouldn't be able to handle it. So I feel
Okay.
like that, if you're anything like me, then you definitely need someone who is more stable in their finances um, to help your organization stay organized with their
Right.
finances, and so you know where finances are going. Me, I like to get all like the coupons, the uniforms, the warm
Mm-hmm.
ups, the stuff like that, and not really care about where the ending payout is going. Um, so that's kind of where I struggled with in the beginning. Um, but once when I learned that that wasn't okay, it
Mm-hmm.
got better.
Right.
Because I had that extra help to tell me, you have to use this money for this area of whatever. And after that, my team, we grew financially because I wasn't just free spending on money anymore.
Right.
So I feel like yes, you should have a treasurer because they're just there to help you stay organized. They're there to help parents see where their money is going, but it should definitely be someone who you trust.
Exactly. I will have to agree. I would say more like a financial committee, because when it's just one person, like, who's watching that person other than the coach? And some people may feel like, well, the coach and the treasurer is in on to get the money. So if you have a committee of, you know, preferably somebody that is well in finances or work at a bank, or if you're lucky enough to have a parent or someone that does that, that would be beneficial, because it's all about accountability and making sure that the money is being allotted where we said it's being allotted to. So I definitely encourage everyone, if you can. I know starting out, you may not be able to have a secretary or a financial treasurer or committee, but it would be wise to do so as soon as you can, because it will take off that pressure of being financially responsible for everything, and the accountability part, so that the parents would know where the money is going, how it's being spent, especially if it's money that they are paying out of their pocket. Fundraising is a little different because that's a collective effort, but when you're charging tuition and fees and so forth, you would like to be able to show where that money is being allocated. So the first official question of tonight, I think, what apps do you use when creating financial records? Now, what the records means, like receipts, invoices, anything that you use to keep a paper trail. And I guess I can go first. I use Square Invoice because for me, that has been the most beneficial, because not only can I send an invoice as well as a contract out to my clients, I can also they also have a banking account where I get a debit card. So that way all my purchases will be made there. And anything that I need to disperse, like say my own personal fee, or my labor fee that I use for my uniforms, I can deposit it in my personal banking account without having to technically open a new bank account. So I think Square Invoice is great. You can collect payments and get a Square Reader card. You know, if people are paying tuition and they want to use a Square Reader, you can swipe that. Even if I believe if you receive cash app payments, you can transfer that to your Square account because it's actually a checking account. So for me, Square Invoice has been the most beneficial for me. I know that's not the only app that you can use, but I want to know, Anaya, do you use any specific apps?
I like QuickBooks.
Okay.
QuickBooks is a little more technical than Square.
Hmm.
I do think that you should have a little bit more experience with QuickBooks before um, someone goes and download that app. It does take quite a little while to get used to it, but it does allow you to, send invoices. It tracks your it tracks your records. It allows you to send out contracts to people. It pretty much allows you to do anything,
Hmm.
but it's just a little bit more advanced
Right.
in terms of like what they feature on their site. Um,
Yeah.
I also like Vega Pro. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right.
Hmm.
Now that is a website typically that hair salon uses, but you can also use it for dancing. Um, in terms of like when you're having classes and stuff that kids sign up for, you can use it for that. It's that site right there. It's like an appointment
Oh,
setter,
okay.
but you can still like pay on it and
Okay.
have them like pay their fees or whatever. If you're doing like a drop-in class or something like that, whatever you have in your program where the parents have to sign their kids up for. Um, and that's a good app as well. That's just an appointment setter. But my favorite by far is definitely QuickBooks. Like I said, it takes a while to use it and to get
Hmm.
used to it because it does have a little bit more technical features than Square does, or Venmo or Cash App or whatever else is really
Hmm.
popular to use. QuickBooks is definitely my favorite. Um, I also like their refund feature. It's
Okay.
literally just one button. You refund their money and they get it back just like that. There's no issues with it. I also like Venmo for people that like to be a little bit more simpler. I do feel like that Venmo is a little bit more professional than Cash App because Cash App can easily be hacked, and
Yes.
Venmo is not that easy to be hacked. I also like that Venmo, it requires you to leave a note as to why you're purchasing whatever item or why you're sending whatever money to
Okay.
that person before you actually send it. So that way in the future, if there is any issues or whatever, when you need a refund or somebody says they sent you this and they say no they didn't, like it's right there in the notes as to
Right.
why you sent that money. And they
Okay.
also
So
have an
basically, that's asking
refund.
my second question. It might be a little confusing because the first one was about financial records like invoices and stuff, receipts, but this one was more about how you process those transactions. So you did say Venmo, we said QuickBooks, we said Square. We Zelle is another way. PayPal is another one, and PayPal is also pretty good with like invoicing as well. You could set up a PayPal account, and it's really safe. I think that one is the safest of all of them because it's the most recognizable transaction brand. And then I mean, you have Cash App, but here's the thing: I don't like to mix my personal stuff with um my professional. So Cash App is based upon your phone number. So you kind of have to be careful about mixing that. And like you said, Cash App can be easily hacked and you can lose that money. Whereas other places like Venmo, QuickBooks, and Square, because I actually was hacked. I somebody, and this was like a couple of months ago, somebody basically spent $1,000 of my business money just at random places. And I was able to do a dispute, of course. And I let them know the only time I use this card is in specific places, Dan stores and Amazon and FedEx. Those are the only three places that I make purchases at. And so they, of course, they refunded my money like maybe within a day after me disputing it. So that's why it's good to have a more professional um, um, I'm trying to think of the right word, transaction processor, because with Cash App, it's difficult to get in contact with anybody. It's really nobody you can talk to on the phone, and you really just hoping that the person may send the money back. Like I don't think it's a real way you can actually dispute any transaction. So that's why I say when you're paying for stuff or receiving money from people, I highly advise against Cash App because that's what a lot of scammers use. Now, if it's something small, like maybe 10, 15, $20, that might be okay. But anything over $25, you probably would need to use another method because, we work hard for our money and we don't want to waste our money sending it to scammers. And I'm saying this to the coaches because I have had plenty of coaches approach me about sending money via Cash App, especially if they're a new client. Like if I've never worked with you, I'm gonna tell you no, let's do it through Square, because if there's any issues, I don't want no problems coming from Cash App. Now, if you work with me a couple of times and Cash App is more convenient, then I may consider doing that. But my first time clients, I don't do that for them because I like to keep solid records as it relates to my dance stuff. Now my phone want to act silly. All right, so as I'm loading that up, I have to use my computer to pull up the next question. See, I'm around here multitasking and stuff. So our next question would be, and was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Manaya, before we move on? Okay, I don't know if you heard me or not.
I said no.
Oh, okay. Let's see. The next question would be, and I do have slides for this specific one. It is, I'm trying to see, what is the best type of bank account needed for a new team? Do you have anything to add to this before I go through my my lesson for the day?
Not necessarily. That one is really a tricky one because it really just depends on what your overall goal is for your program because there's so many different options for a bank account. But I say overall, any type of bank account that you use, it needs to be one saving account and one checking account specifically for business. Don't just go up to a regular bank and open up a regular savings account and a regular checking account as if it's personal because then you're going to feel the need. You're probably going to feel
Right.
the
Be
need to
tempted.
just dip into it whenever you want to. And that's
Mhm.
not the point of opening up a bank account. So wherever they go, it needs to be specifically set up as a business
Okay.
account.
So this is what I have, a few slides. I'm gonna try to get through them quickly and not bore you guys, but I really feel like this is important. Uh Kimberly Renee, hello. And she says she highly recommends a credit union. Okay. I'm gonna go through a few slides if y'all could just bear with me. And I know sometimes it may seem a little boring, but I think it's very important because a lot of people don't know. And like I did last week with the different types of business structures, I'm going to do a clip of the different type of business accounts or checking accounts you can have. So the first one, because there are a couple of them, is a business checking account, as you said, Manaya. So it says a business checking account is arguably the most versatile of all business bank account types because it has the fewest restrictions on what you can do with your money. It gives you several ways to withdraw funds, including electronic transfers, wire transfers, checks, and ATM and debit card transactions. So it's It's a great place to keep the money you need to cover your business expenses. You also have several options for adding money to your account, including electronic transfers, mobile check deposit, wire transfer, and possibly branch or ATM deposits if your bank allow these. Many businesses' checking accounts also integrate with popular business tools, including accounting software. So what that means is you might can add your business account to your QuickBooks or your Square, because that's what that means by integrating with popular business tools or accounting software. While not a necessity, this can save you from having to manually transfer the details of all your transactions over and break them down into your business accountant categories. And let me pull this back up because I'm switching between the screens. So here's something that's important to pay attention to. Unlike personal checking accounts, which usually allow an unlimited transactions, many business checking accounts limit the number of monthly transactions, including deposits, transfers, and withdrawals. Exceeding this limit could result in additional per transaction fees, so make sure to choose one that has enough free transactions for your business. So the biggest limitation is how many transactions you can make within a business checking account. So the next type of account is the business savings account, which you also mentioned as well, Manaya. The business savings accounts are a better fit than checking accounts for operating profits, meaning money that you will make, you don't plan to use in the near future. They enable you to earn a competitive interest rate on your savings, but the trade-off is limited access. Federal law restricts you to 6 fee-free withdrawals per month, and most business savings accounts don't enable you to write checks or use an ATM card to directly withdraw cash. Because the whole point of a savings account is to save that money and build interest on it, or be able to save it for a rainy day or emergencies. Many banks limit the number of monthly deposits you can make to your business savings account, as well as the number of cash deposits you can make per month. Though less restrictive than many business checking account transaction limits, this is still something to be mindful of when deciding on the best business savings account for your company. All right, I'm gonna try to get through these last ones quickly. I'm not gonna read every single thing. I will probably post the link in the comments for you guys to read. And this one talks about a business certificate of deposit. It says, I'm sorry, I minimized it. It says business certificate of deposit or CD accounts are an alternative to business savings accounts that can earn your company more in interest. But they're not a good place to keep money. You need to cover operating expenses. So that, in a nutshell, is if you're just trying to acquire interest on the money that you are saving, a business certificate of deposit or a business CD account is best for you. And like I said, I'm not going to go through every detail of it for time's sake. And I think the next one is the business money market account. Business money market accounts, or MMAs, are less common than other business bank accounts discussed above, but they may appeal to you if you're interested in an account that blends some of the features of business checkings and savings accounts. So it's like a blended account. At its core, business MMAs are similar to savings accounts, and they also limit you to 6 monthly penalty-free withdrawals per federal law. MMAs are interest-bearing and sometimes offer high APYs than you can get with a business savings account, though rates vary significantly depending on which bank you choose. Brick and mortar banks usually can't match the higher rates of online banks because they have much higher overhead costs. MMAs sometimes have higher minimum deposit requirements than business savings accounts as well, which may prohibit some business owners from opening one of these. And let me see if I want to read the remaining. Okay, so what sets business MMAs apart, and I'm reading the second paragraph, from business savings accounts, is that MMAs usually offer more ways to access your money. Options will vary from bank to bank, but some offer check writing capabilities and ATM cards directly from withdrawing cash, just like a business checking account. And the last account that I have is a merchant account. A merchant account is often necessary for small businesses that accept debit and credit card transactions. When a customer pays your company with a card, the money goes into the first account. Um, I'm sorry, it goes into the account first and then automatically gets transferred to your other business bank accounts, though it may take a day or two. These accounts have their own fees, including application and setup fees, as well as a monthly and per transaction fees. So it's crucial that you familiarize yourself with all associated costs before you sign up. Otherwise, you could end up costing yourself a lot of money. Lastly, merchant accounts typically have contracts, which is yet another reason to carefully read the fine print before you sign up. A typical contract starts off at 3 years with 1 to 2 year terms that auto renew after that. Canceling your contract early is possible, but you'll pay early termination fees. So it's best to avoid this if you can. So those were the 5 main accounts that people use. Those are not the only accounts they have available, but those are the main ones. Now, I remember somebody asking a question about the difference between a DBA or doing business as and an not LLC, but a business banking account. And from what I understand, if I, Deanna Clark, decide to do Divine Dance All Stars, I can set up a checking account separate from my personal account, but it would be Deanna Clark doing business as Divine Dance All Stars. Most of those accounts are for sole proprietors. And we talked about that last week, where a sole proprietor is you have unlimited liability. That means that if I go bankrupt, if I'm in debt, or if I get sued, they can come after my personal assets. Whereas with the LLC is limited liability, meaning they cannot come after your personal assets in case your company has to file bankruptcy or you get sued. So that's where a business a checking account will be better with a LLC. So that's my understanding of those two accounts. I'm not 100% sure, but once I get real clarification, I would definitely make a post about it or place it in the comments. So if you are a sole proprietor, a DBA is probably better for you. But if you're a LLC, actual business checking account would be better for you. So we're going to move on. And this is probably going to be one of the quicker episodes that we have tonight, because I don't have like a whole bunch of questions. But the next and final question is, what is the difference between tuition, dues, fees, and fundraising? Because I've seen people ask this question. I've had people ask me this question personally. Manai, are you still there? I wasn't sure if you had to step out for a second.
I'm still here. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
had to handle some stuff with my kid.
I
But
understand.
the difference between tuition and dues, I'm gonna start with those two first. To me, the difference between tuition and dues is that tuition is like your monthly fee.
Okay.
Basically, it's like whatever you're charging. Ooh, it's whatever you're charging monthly
Mm-hmm.
for your dancers to be a part of the team
Okay.
or the
And what would
company.
that money be distributed to?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Where would that money be distributed to? And let me correct and say Mina. I'm so sorry that I was calling you Manaya.
You're
Mina.
fine.
Okay.
um, it would be distributed to like the tuition pretty much goes towards the dance studio needs,
Mm-hmm.
um, or whatever the place that you're renting out. If you don't have a dance studio, you're just renting out a place or whatever. It goes to those type of needs. It goes to the company's insurance and stuff
Right.
like that. It helps keep the team a team. It helps keep the program a program, basically,
Right.
because it's expensive to try to do it all yourself and to use
Right.
all of your own personal money. So yes, if you want your child to dance, and we're gonna have to help come up with those dues to keep that program alive.
Right. And the
Um,
tuition also goes to coach fees. Like if
mm,
you choose to pay yourself to come up with routines and stuff, it goes to that. Or if you bring in a coach, I feel like that goes
Yep, that
as
all
well with tuition.
goes hand in hand with tuition.
And for me, like dues, this is what I understood with dues were. Like when I was on the pom squad at my school, we had to pay our coach's fee, which was like our tuition, but we also had to pay dues, and they paid for like our dance mixes that we needed for our competitions, and it also paid for our competition fees. Um so that's why we had to pay dues. A lot of majorette teams do not separate tuition from dues. That's more of a like a cheer pom type thing, because we had to pay the coach's fee and we had to pay dues, and then our fees just depended upon, like, let's say um if we
I
were
feel like
getting
fees are like the random stuff,
yeah, like
like
t-shirts
your
and stuff
shoes, your t-shirts, like the small stuff that you can
don't come
just
with the
purchase
uniform package.
anytime as long as you have it by whatever date is needed. Like
Right.
for example, if you're just now enrolling your child into a ballet class or whatever the case may be, and it is teacher says, well, you're gonna need tights, you're gonna need leotards, then to me
Mhm.
that would be considered a fee, a random
Right.
fee.
Right.
Um,
Especially if they sell those items, because a lot of schools
yeah,
do that as well.
and fundraising, to me, fundraising is anything that's done individually or collectively as a team, but really as a team.
Hmm.
Because if it's done individually, to me, that still says, that's something that if you work for yourself, you keep that item that you worked for.
And see, that was a question I saw in one of the major red groups was, if we fundraise, who gets to keep the items? For me, when I worked in school as a dance coach, as a majorette coach, when we fundraise, the school kept the items. When we had the parents pay out of pocket, they got to keep the items. I think fundraising is probably better, especially for a new team, and if you are living within a low income area, fundraising might be better, because you may have, people that may leave, they may return or what have you, and you get to keep those costumes or props or different things that you've bought for your company, and it might be more beneficial to have that than constantly having to
And to
replace.
me, the fundraising, like the different type of fundraising, if it's done as a team,
Hmm.
then to me, like that stuff belongs to the company if it's done as a team.
Right.
But if you are just deciding to, randomly yourself fundraise for whatever, if your coach tells you, y'all could do this individually, like as if it's a
Yeah,
choice
ask
to
for
fundraise,
sponsorship.
then, to me, that's different if you're making it a choice. But if it's mandatory to fundraise for this item or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be, then that should belong to the company.
Right. So that's why I said I feel like fundraising for like uniforms and stuff like that might be more beneficial to newer teams. Um, because you do get to keep the company do gets to keep the items. Or if you have like how like in college you buy your books and then you sell them back, that might be a good idea to have as well, because I believe next week, if not next week or the week after, I want to do an episode about specifically fundraising, like what are some of the best fundraisers, and the benefits of fundraising and so forth, because I've had a lot of people ask me about fundraising, and I think it would be good to do an episode regarding that. But yeah, once again, just to clarify for those who may have missed a few things that both I and Mina said, tuition basically covers the housekeeping, meaning if there's a building or if we have to pay a renter's fee to rent a building, coach's fee, just utilities, just all the things that make the dance team or organization run. Your dues, I said that typically when we did dues, it was for things like dance mixes or competition fees that we had to pay to compete in. And then fees are like the smaller things that you may need to purchase, like tights or shoes or something like that that the company will probably purchase for everyone as a whole. And then fundraising is typically the whole team and company come together to raise money for the team. But there are options where you can fundraise individually. Let's say your fees, tuition and fees and stuff add up to $350, and you may have a parent that doesn't have that. They can go and fundraise individually and say, my daughter's on this dance team, would you like to make a donation? Or if they sell cookies or water bottles or however they choose to do it on a personal level, then that's different than when the whole team fundraises for something specific. So hopefully that answered that person's question, and I'm going to post it into the different groups so that everyone can be made aware. Because I always say that we have more people watch after the fact than actually doing the live. My goal is to try and get people to be more engaged doing the actual live and comment and so forth, so we can like build on this discussion. Was there anything else that you wanted to add with the financial responsibility, like any advice you want to give from your experience?
Um, I would just say whatever, how you choose to do things with your tuition and dues and fees and fundraising, just make sure you're honest about it, because it's way too many teams out here that say that they're using the money for this and it's really going towards that. And a
Hmm.
lot of teams, they end up going downhill just simply because of the fact of their coaches and directors are not being honest about where their money is going.
Right.
So,
And when you have people that aren't used to receiving a level of money, it's easy to get tempted to dip into, the funds to pay for other stuff or for personal items. And you want to avoid that because you want to keep integrity. Plus, these are people's hard-earned money. And imagine you working hard, your 9 to 5 or whatever it is that you do, and trusting somebody with your child's money, and then they're taking it and doing it for personal benefit. So you always want to think about how you would feel in this situation.
I would say, if anything, I remember one of the very first times that I started coaching a program that I was with, that their fundraising committee, well, they're like the whole vice president committee, whatever you want to call it, their little booster club that they had within the band. They actually sent out monthly statements that showed specifically where the money was going to. And I think that is a good idea to do, especially if you're a new team and you're still
Mhm.
developing trust within your parents and within your community. Um, it's just like to show where your money is going to, and to show that you're using it for what you say you're using it for.
Yeah,
At
because I,
least
I even do
until.
that with my uniforms. I would send them a screenshot of where, like, what's being purchased and when and where and how and all that stuff, so they know that, okay, this is being allotted for that. Not that it's any of their business, but it's just because there's so many scammers within the majorette community. It's just to help build their trust and help them be comfortable with the purchase that they made with me. So I agree with you 100%. Even though there's two different areas, I really feel like what you just said is very important. Okay, I don't think, yeah, I didn't have any more questions that I had written down. So, all in all, make sure that you guys, if you have any questions, I'm available. Mina's available. She's the one of the admins for the new majorette teams. And it's a lot of quality information within that group. And I know you have like different files and different things that you can click on or read through. Like, it's just so much, and you can ask questions and other coaches will come and help answer the questions for you. So if you're not a part of that group, make sure that you join that group, because I really feel like that will be beneficial, and it's a lot of quality information for new teams or for teams that have been in existence but really don't know what and what, or trying to rebrand and so forth. So make sure that you join that. Make sure that you follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page, because we're going to keep the conversation going. Each week, we're going to have a different topic that we're going to discuss to add value to the majorette community, because we see so many people complaining about what's wrong with the community and are not coming up with actual solutions. So hopefully, This podcast can provide some of those solutions. And if there's any topics that you may want to discuss, any questions that you want me to present into the conversation, feel free to shoot me a DM on my Facebook page, my Instagram, or on YouTube, or you can just comment, and I am more than happy to add those questions and comments to the conversation, because we're all about unity and building and growing, expanding, and removing all the negativity that we have within the community. So with that being said, I want to thank Mina for coming on, taking her time out to have this discussion with me and sharing insight on the topic. Was there anything else that you wanted to add before we go?
Not really. I feel like this topic is pretty much just common
Straight to
sense
the
and
point. Yeah.
set in stone, just
Well, we
straightforward.
already know there's a lot of people that
So,
don't have common sense.
so yeah, it's always helpful to have the advice. I feel like this subject is one that all teens, whether you're seasoned or new, should take seriously and should never think that you have so much experience that you just can't take up whatever advice, because finances is like the main reason why teams fail.
Right.
So, I do feel like um, everybody, regardless of their level of experience, could benefit from this topic today.
Right. Yes. So thank you so much again for joining us and, adding to the conversation. You added so much value. I also, just one quick announcement. I am actually thinking about starting a clubhouse room for Divine Dance All Stars. And for those of you that are not familiar with Clubhouse is basically an online chat room. Where you really don't see anybody, but you could just talk like you're on the phone, and you can have multiple people be moderators, and you just talk about different discussions. It used to be where you had to be invited, but now they've opened it up to everybody and anybody. So I'm thinking about doing a room maybe once or twice a week, so we could just talk and share our experiences and our thoughts and just engage in more conversation, because I know it's a little harder when you're doing a podcast and you can't really respond the way you want to. So I'm thinking about doing that, so be on the lookout for that. I have more details soon, but are there any announcements that you have, Mina, that you want to share? Okay. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the 8th episode of the 5678 podcast. We will be back next week at 7 p.m. Central with a brand new topic. And we would love for you guys to join. But don't forget to follow us and subscribe to Divine Dance All-Star Apparel on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and everything else that's available, because I believe I'm on everything. So thank you guys for watching. You have a great night. Bye.